Imagine a text, written more than a century ago, which, like an ancient artifact, was unearthed from oblivion to speak to the world once more. A text whose influence is traceable in the destinies of the greatest thinkers and entrepreneurs of the 20th century, from Napoleon Hill to Earl Nightingale, and extending even to the present day to Oprah Winfrey. This is not an esoteric treatise hidden from view, but a practical guide to self-improvement which paradoxically met with the resistance of its time. In 1933, during a period when the world was experiencing the most profound economic and social upheavals, editions of this book were withdrawn from circulation. Its ideas were subjected to criticism, and its very existence seemed a threat to established conceptions of reality. This was not an act of censorship in the customary sense, but rather a reflection of the deep discomfort evoked by its radical simplicity and directness, its call to an inner power capable of overturning external circumstances. We speak of the Master Key System by Charles F. Haanel. Charles Francis Haanel, a man whose name became synonymous with the practical philosophy of success, was born in St. Louis, Missouri, on May 27, 1866. His childhood unfolded in an atmosphere of America's vigorous development, where the entrepreneurial spirit and a belief in limitless possibilities were the driving force of society. Haanel was not a cloistered scholar or an abstract philosopher. He was a man of action, whose life became living proof of his own principles. He commenced his career at a young age, working for various companies in St. Louis, where he quickly demonstrated extraordinary organizational abilities and a keen intellect. His path to success was a classic example of the American dream, from humble beginnings to the creation of his own business empire. By the dawn of the 20th century, Charles Haanel was already a recognized magnate, the founder and president of several major corporations, including the Continental Commercial Company. His enterprises spanned various industries from mining to real estate, and all of them prospered under his leadership. He possessed the unique ability to discern opportunities where others perceived obstacles, and to transmute ideas into tangible reality. It was this practical experience, accumulated over decades of successful business endeavors, that became the foundation for his future works. Haanel did not merely attain financial prosperity. He systematized the principles that had led him to this success, and he strove to share them with others. In 1912, Charles Haanel first introduced to the world his Master Key System, not as a traditional book, but as a 24-week course disseminated by mail. This format was innovative for its era, enabling individuals from various corners of the nation to study its principles sequentially, step by step, applying them in practice. Haanel's clientele included not only private individuals seeking personal growth, but also prominent industrialists, businessmen, and influential figures of his time who recognized the value of his methods. They perceived in the Master Key System not merely a collection of abstract ideas, but a concrete guide to action, capable of enhancing their business and personal lives. Haanel believed that success was not the prerogative of the chosen few, but the result of applying universal laws, accessible to all who were willing to study and apply them. His approach was profoundly pragmatic, focused on achieving concrete, measurable results, yet he always emphasized that true and enduring success was rooted in an understanding of deeper metaphysical principles. It was this synthesis of pragmatism and profound philosophy that rendered his work so compelling and influential. And now we approach one of the most profound and perhaps most underestimated lessons of the Master Key System, Lesson 20. By this juncture, having traversed the 19 preceding steps, Haanel's student would have already mastered the fundamentals of mental concentration, visualization, and the comprehension of universal laws. But Lesson 20 elevates us to an entirely different plane of awareness, offering a practice which Haanel himself terms the supreme: to enter into the silence. This is not merely an absence of sound, not simply physical quietude, but a profound, all-encompassing state of being, wherein the spirit of all things is revealed. Haanel asserts that the silence is not an emptiness, but, on the contrary, a presence that is the fount of all existence, that invisible power which permeates and vitalizes all within the universe. He bids us recognize the literal, not metaphorical, truth of the words of the Apostle Paul. spoken on the Areopagus in Athens as recorded in Acts 17th chapter 28th verse, "For in him we live and move and have our being." These words, uttered more than 2,000 years ago, Hanel proposes we apprehend as a fundamental principle of our reality. You exist because he exists, you are because he is. This is not a religious dogma in the narrow sense, but a universal affirmation of the interconnectedness of all existence with a singular, all-pervading principle. For Hanel, the silence is not merely a means to attain repose or relaxation. It is a portal through which we may connect with this all-encompassing being, with that very power which grants us life, movement, and existence. He writes, "In the silence, the spirit of all things is revealed to him who is ready to hear." This signifies that in a state of profound inner quietude, when the mind ceases its clamor and distraction by external stimuli, we begin to perceive the true nature of reality, its inner essence, its spirit. This state permits us to transcend superficial perception and touch upon profound truths which are ordinarily veiled by the curtain of daily noise and commotion. This concept of the silence as a fount of profound knowledge and connection to universal being is neither novel nor unique to Hanel. It finds striking parallels in ancient traditions and spiritual practices across the globe, which merely underscores its universality and timeless relevance. Consider, for instance, the Zen practice of *zazen*, which literally signifies sitting in the silence. This is not merely meditation in the Western understanding, but the fundamental, central practice of Zen Buddhism, aimed at attaining *satori*, enlightenment. Seated in a specific posture with a straight spine, focusing attention upon the breath or simply upon presence, the practitioner endeavors to quiet the mind, release thoughts, and enter a state of pure awareness where the division between subject and object dissolves. In this state of the silence, as Zen masters affirm, the true Buddha nature, inherent in each being, reveals itself spontaneously. Here, as with Hanel, the silence is not an absence, but a presence, a state wherein the true self manifests. Delving yet deeper into history and culture, we encounter the Jewish tradition of *hitbodut*, which may be translated as self-seclusion or solitude. This practice, particularly developed within Hasidism through the teachings of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov in the 18th century, calls for a daily hour of silence and solitude, often in a secluded place such as a forest or a field. The aim of *hitbodut* is not merely contemplation, but a sincere personal conversation with God, which transpires not so much through words as through profound inner silence. In this seclusion, as the outer world recedes, one may hear one's inner voice, the voice of one's soul, and, as Rabbi Nachman believed, the voice of the Creator himself. It is a practice demanding courage, for in the silence one confronts oneself, one's fears and desires, yet it is precisely there that one discovers a true connection with the Supreme. No less striking an example is the vow of complete silence undertaken by Carthusian monks, one of the most austere Catholic orders, founded by Saint Bruno of Cologne at the close of the 11th century. Their lives are consecrated to contemplation and prayer, and the silence constitutes a central element of their spiritual practice. Carthusian monks spend the greater part of their lives in seclusion, within their cells, communicating with one another only during strictly designated hours and on special occasions. This silence is not a penance or a deprivation. It is a conscious choice, an instrument for achieving a deeper communion with God. In their silence, they discover not only tranquility but also clarity of mind, an intuitive apprehension of divine truths that are inaccessible amidst the clamor of worldly pursuits. Within the Eastern Christian tradition, particularly on the holy mountain of Athos, there exists the ancient practice of *hesychasm*, which signifies stillness or repose. Hesychasts, or still ones, aspire to the descent of the mind into the heart through unceasing Jesus prayer, "Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner," and profound inner quietude. They believe that in this state of the silence, when the mind is stilled and attention is transferred to the spiritual center of man, the heart, one may attain *theosis*, or deification, direct communion with God, the beholding of the uncreated light. It is a practice demanding years of endeavor and discipline, but its aim is the transfiguration of one's entire being through the silence and prayer, the revelation of the divine image within oneself. Within the yogic tradition of India, there exists the practice of *pratyahara*, the fifth limb of Patanjali's eight-limbed yoga. *pratyahara* is the withdrawal of the senses from external objects, a kind of disconnection from external sensory inputs. This is not merely to close one's eyes and stop one's ears, but to consciously direct attention inward, detaching oneself from the stream of external impressions. When the senses cease to be tethered to the outer world, the mind becomes calm, and the practitioner may proceed to deeper stages of meditation. *dharana* and *dhyana*, and ultimately to *samadhi*, a state of complete union and transcendent awareness. *pratyahara* is a preparatory step toward the silence, creating an inner space wherein this silence may manifest. All these ancient traditions, separated by thousands of miles and centuries, converge upon one truth: within the silence resides a great power. It is not merely an absence of sound, but an active presence, a state wherein one may come into contact with the profound strata of reality, with the fount of one's being. Charles Haanel, a man of the 20th century, synthesized these ancient wisdoms with the contemporary understanding of mental laws of his era, offering a practical path to this state. And behold, what is astonishing? Modern science, armed with advanced technologies, is beginning to corroborate what ancient sages knew intuitively. That which was once deemed mysticism or an article of faith now becomes the object of empirical investigations, revealing the physiological and neurological mechanisms of the silence's influence upon the human brain and body. In 2005, Dr. Sara Lazar, a neuroscientist from Harvard Medical School, conducted groundbreaking research that literally transformed our understanding of how meditation and, in essence, the practice of the silence influences brain structure. Utilizing functional magnetic resonance imaging (fMRI), her team examined the brains of individuals who, for 8 weeks, regularly practiced mindfulness meditation. The results were astonishing. It was discovered that in these individuals, the prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for decision-making, attention, planning, and self-control, had physically thickened. A thickening was also observed in the cingulate gyrus, which plays a pivotal role in emotional regulation and self-awareness, and in the hippocampus, a structure critically important for memory and learning. Concurrently, the amygdala, the brain's center for fear and anxiety, exhibited shrinkage. This research by Lazar became one of the first to convincingly demonstrate that the practice of the silence and meditation does not merely alter our state of mind, but literally rewires the physical structure of our brain, rendering it more resilient to stress, more focused, and more capable of self-regulation. This is direct evidence of neuroplasticity, the brain's capacity to change its structure and function in response to experience, as Norman Doidge elaborated in his book The Brain That Changes Itself in 2007. Furthermore, in 2000, Eric Kandel was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for his foundational research into the mechanisms of memory. Working with the sea slug Aplysia californica*, Kandel and his colleagues demonstrated that memory is not a static record, but a dynamic process that is physically rewritten and reinforced at the molecular level. He discovered that the protein CREB, camp response element binding protein, plays a pivotal role in the formation of long-term memory. What is particularly significant for our topic, these changes occur during moments of heightened tranquil attention. That is to say, not in a state of chaotic activity, but precisely in moments of focused repose, when the mind is in a state akin to the silence. A physical restructuring of neural connections transpires, which permits the formation and reinforcement of memories. The silence, therefore, does not merely quiet the mind, it creates optimal conditions for profound learning and the rewriting of neural patterns, which in turn may influence our genome, as epigenetics suggests, studying how environment and experience can alter gene expression without changing the DNA itself, a topic Bruce Lipton elaborates upon. Quietude, in essence, rewires the genome. influencing which genes will be active and which will not. Even more direct evidence of the power of the silence emerged from research conducted by Imke Kirste and her colleagues in Brussels in 2015. They investigated the influence of various auditory stimuli upon the brains of mice. The results demonstrated that 2 hours of quietude per day stimulated the creation of new neurons in the hippocampus, that very region responsible for memory, learning, and emotions, more rapidly than any other auditory stimuli, including soothing music or white noise. This signifies that absolute quietude does not merely mitigate stress or permit the brain to rest, it actively fosters neurogenesis, that is, the birth of new brain cells. The silence, therefore, stands as a potent stimulant for brain growth and renewal, bearing the most profound implications for our comprehension of cognitive health and developmental potential. These scientific discoveries, made decades after the publication of the Master Key System, astonishingly corroborate the intuitive insights of Charles Haanel and the ancient sages. They reveal that the practice of the silence is not merely a spiritual exercise, but a potent instrument for physical and mental transfiguration. It literally rewires our brain, enhances memory, diminishes stress levels, and grants access to deeper levels of awareness. It is precisely for this reason that Haanel offers a specific practical recommendation in Lesson 20 to dedicate 30 minutes of absolute silence each day. This ought not to be merely an absence of sounds, though that too is important. It must be a complete absence of external stimuli and distractions, without music, without a telephone, without conversations, without reading, without any external tasks. Simply presence, simply being. This may appear simple, but in truth it is one of the most challenging and demanding practices. When you first attempt this, your mind will in all likelihood be clamorous. Thoughts will swarm, memories will surface, plans for the future will flit before your inner vision. This is entirely normal, and Haanel forewarns of it. Our mind has grown accustomed to constant stimulation, to a ceaseless stream of information and tasks. To sever this stream in a single instant is not possible, but it is crucial not to contend with these thoughts, not to endeavor to halt them by force. Instead, simply observe them, permitting them to come and go, like clouds across the sky, without clinging to them. Haanel promises that if you persevere and practice this silence daily for 14 days, you will commence to observe changes. Layer by layer, the mind's clamor will subside. You will begin to sense a deeper repose, a more lucid awareness, and then, in this deepening silence, the spirit of all things will begin to reveal itself to you, unveiling truths and understandings that were hidden behind the veil of daily noise. This is not merely rest for the mind. It is an active endeavor to reconstruct your inner world, to open access to your inner power and wisdom, to that very being in which we live and move and have our being. That which, a century ago, was deemed metaphysical speculation, today acquires a firm scientific foundation. Contemporary research, conducted in leading global institutions, one after another, corroborates the astonishing plasticity of our brain and the profound influence of inner states upon our entire biology. These discoveries do not merely supplement, but radically reframe our comprehension of human potential, indicating that the practice of the silence, of which Haanel spoke, is not simply a spiritual exercise, but a most potent instrument for physical and mental transfiguration. The science of neuroplasticity, literally the plasticity of the nervous system, has demonstrated that our brain is not an immutable structure, fixed once and for all. On the contrary, it constantly reorganizes, adapts, and transforms under the influence of our experiences, thoughts, and actions. This revolutionary concept, elucidated in detail by Dr. Norman Doidge in his book The Brain That Changes Itself, published in 2007, overturned centuries-old notions concerning the brain's static nature. Doidge succeeded in synthesizing decades of research, demonstrating how the brain can heal from injuries, compensate for lost functions, and even cultivate new capacities due to its astonishing ability for reorganization. One of the most striking confirmations of neuroplasticity came from the celebrated study conducted in 2000 by Dr. Eleanor Maguire of University College London. Her team investigated the brains of London taxi drivers, To become a taxi driver in London, one must pass an incredibly arduous examination known as the Knowledge, which necessitates memorizing 25,000 streets and 20,000 landmarks within a 10-kilometer radius of Charing Cross. This process typically spans from 2 to 4 years. Dr. Maguire discovered that in taxi drivers who had successfully passed this examination, the posterior hippocampus, a brain region critically important for spatial memory and navigation, was significantly larger than in a control group. Moreover, the longer a taxi driver had worked, the larger their hippocampus was. This was direct evidence that intensive mental training associated with navigation and the memorization of a complex city map literally physically alters the brain's structure, augmenting the volume of certain of its parts. This experiment graphically demonstrates that our brain does not merely utilize its structures to perform tasks, but forms them in response to these tasks. If so intricate an external task as memorizing a city map can physically rewire our brain, then what might be achieved by purposeful inner work, such as the practice of the silence? Just as neuroplasticity unveils the dynamic nature of our brain, the science of epigenetics is transforming our comprehension of genetics and heredity. For an extended period, it was held that our genes constituted an immutable verdict, determining our destiny. However, the pioneer of epigenetics, Dr. Bruce Lipton, in his book The Biology of Belief, demonstrated that this is not the case. Epigenetics investigates alterations in gene expression that are not linked to changes in the DNA sequence itself, yet can be transmitted hereditarily. In other words, our genes can be switched on or switched off under the influence of our environment, our lifestyle, nutrition, and most astonishingly, our thoughts and emotions. One of the most startling experiments in this field was the study conducted in 2014 by doctors Brian Diaz and Kerry Ressler of Emory University. They conditioned mice to fear the scent of cherry blossoms by associating it with a mild electric shock. Soon the mice began to tremble with fear at the mere scent, even without the shock. The most astonishing development occurred next. The offspring of these mice, never subjected to shock nor exposed to the scent, exhibited the identical fear response to the cherry blossom odor, and even their grandchildren displayed similar wariness. Scientists discovered that the fear was transmitted through epigenetic changes in the sperm of the male mice, which affected the gene responsible for scent perception. This experiment demonstrates that traumatic experiences, and perhaps profound inner states, can be literally inscribed into our genome and transmitted to subsequent generations. If fear can be inherited in such a manner, may we then surmise that states of profound repose, clarity, and awareness, cultivated in the silence, might also exert a deep, perhaps transgenerational influence upon our biology. The silence, therefore, becomes not merely a personal practice, but a potentially potent instrument for altering the genetic landscape of future generations. Furthermore, psychoneuroimmunology, a nascent yet rapidly evolving field, investigates the intricate interplay between the psyche, the nervous system, and the immune system. Dr. Candace Pert, in her groundbreaking book Molecules of Emotion, published in 1997, introduced to the world the concept that emotions are not merely abstract sentiments, but physical molecules, or peptides, which circulate throughout our entire body. She discovered that receptors for these peptides are located not only in the brain, but also in immune cells, in the digestive system, and in numerous other tissues. This signifies that our emotions literally converse with every cell of our body, influencing its function and behavior. The work of doctors Janice Kiekult Glaser and Ronald Glaser from Ohio State University graphically demonstrated how stress, induced by examinations in medical students, suppresses their immune system. They found that during periods of intense stress, the activity of natural killer cells, cells responsible for combating viruses and cancer cells, diminished in students, and wound healing was retarded. These studies reveal that chronic stress, occasioned by the incessant clamor of the mind and external distractions, literally debilitates our natural defenses. In this context, the practice of the silence becomes not merely a means of relaxation, but a strategic instrument for fortifying immunity. By quieting the mind, we diminish stress levels, optimize the production of molecules of emotion, and enable our immune system to operate at full capacity, safeguarding us from maladies. The silence is not merely a path to inner repose, it is a path to physical health and longevity. And finally, the placebo phenomenon, one of the most enigmatic and potent manifestations of our mind's power over the body. Commencing with the pioneering works of Dr. Henry Beecher in 1955, it has been repeatedly demonstrated that a patient's belief in a treatment can induce real physiological changes, even if the treatment itself is an inert substance. The placebo effect can attain 30 to 60% of the efficacy of actual medications, manifesting in the reduction of pain, the amelioration of symptoms of various ailments, and even in objective changes such as a decrease in blood pressure or an improvement in organ function. This is not an imaginary reaction, but a genuine physiological response, triggered by the power of the mind and expectations. If a simple belief in the efficacy of a pill can induce such profound changes in the body, then contemplate what a mind, consciously and purposefully immersed in the state of the silence, is capable of. In this state, liberated from noise and external distractions, we do not merely believe in healing, we actively connect to the profound resources of being, which, according to Hanel, are the fount of all life and health. The silence creates optimal conditions for our inner physician, our innate capacity for self-healing, to operate unimpeded, directing energy and attention toward the restoration of harmony and balance within the body. Thus, the silence is not merely passive expectation, but active participation in the process of one's own healing and transformation, unveiling the limitless potential of our mind. These contemporary scientific discoveries, from neuroplasticity to epigenetics and the placebo effect, astonishingly rhyme with ancient wisdom, which for millennia has indicated a profound connection between one's inner state and one's outer world. Long before the advent of fMRI and genetic laboratories, prophets, philosophers, and mystics of diverse cultures intuitively apprehended the power of the silence and its capacity to unlock access to higher truths. One of the earliest and most influential sources of this wisdom is Hermes Trismegistus, a legendary figure revered as a divine prophet, a synthesis of the Egyptian god Thoth and the Greek Hermes. His teachings, compiled in the so-called Corpus Hermeticum, exerted immense influence upon the Western esoteric tradition. In the first treatise, known as Poimandres, Hermes receives revelation from the divine mind, or nous. This revelation comes to him in a state of profound trance or the silence, when he detaches from the outer world and immerses himself in contemplation. Poimandres unveils to Hermes the mysteries of creation, the nature of God and man, asserting that man is a spark of the divine mind. The path to knowing oneself and God, according to Hermes, lies through the purification of the mind and a return to primordial purity, which is unattainable without profound inner silence, enabling one to hear the divine voice. In the Eastern tradition, Gautama Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, likewise underscored the absolute primacy of the mind. His renowned utterance from the Dhammapada, verse 1, states thus: "Thoughts are the forerunners of all states. Thoughts are their masters. Thoughts have created them. If a man speaks or acts with an impure thought, suffering follows him, as the wheel follows the hoof of the draft animal. If a man speaks or acts with a pure thought, happiness follows him, like a shadow that never leaves him." These words, spoken more than 2.5 millennia ago, constitute the quintessence of Buddhist philosophy. They assert that our inner world, our thoughts, are the primal cause of all that transpires with us. The cultivation of pure thought is not merely positive thinking. It is a profound process of purifying the mind from defilements, achieved through meditation and mindfulness, which are, in their essence, forms of the silence. Another ancient Indian text, Yoga Vasishta, dating from approximately the 6th to 10th centuries AD, presents a philosophical dialogue between the sage Vasishta and Prince Rama. The central tenet of the text posits that the entire world is merely a manifestation of consciousness, or Brahman. Our mind creates our reality, and liberation is attained through the comprehension of this truth. Yoga Vasishta delineates various methods for quieting the mind, or mananasa, which literally signifies destruction of the mind, but in context implies not its annihilation but its subjugation and dissolution into higher consciousness. The practice of viraga, or non-attachment, and abhyasa, or constant practice, lead to a state where the mind becomes quiescent, and inner silence permits the realization of the true nature of reality lying beyond thoughts and concepts. Within the Jewish mystical tradition, the Kabbalah, there also exists a concept profoundly linked to the silence. This is Ein Sof, Ein Sof, which translated from Hebrew signifies the infinite or the limitless. Ein Sof is the utterly unknowable, boundless God, who precedes all creation and lies beyond any description, thought, or comprehension. To approach an apprehension of Ein Sof, Kabbalists employ various meditative and contemplative practices that necessitate complete detachment from worldly concerns and immersion in profound inner silence. Only in this state may the mind transcend its ordinary confines and come into contact with that which lies beyond the finite and the comprehensible. The practice of hitbodedut*, or seclusion for self-contemplation, mentioned by Rabbi Nachman of Breslov in the 18th century, is a direct continuation of this tradition, advocating for a daily hour of silence in solitude. The ancient Greek and Roman Stoics, such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, likewise held in high esteem inner tranquility and self-control. Epictetus taught that we cannot control external circumstances, but we may always choose our response to them. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, urged constant self-examination and the quest for an inner citadel, a refuge from external chaos. This inner citadel is a state of profound silence, where the mind is free from passions and external distractions, enabling one to maintain composure and clarity of judgment even in the most arduous situations. For the Stoics, the silence was not merely an absence of sound, but an absence of inner clamor, permitting the mind to act in accordance with nature and virtue. Finally, in Zen Buddhism, which arrived in China through the legendary patriarch Bodhidharma in the 6th century, the central practice is ***, or sitting meditation. This is not merely sitting, but sitting in the silence, where the practitioner observes his thoughts, permitting them to come and go, without clinging to them or judging them. Bodhidharma himself spent 9 years in a cave, gazing at a wall, ***, which became a symbol of the most profound, unwavering silence and meditation, leading to enlightenment. For Zen Buddhists, the silence is a direct path to the immediate experience of reality, bypassing verbal concepts and intellectual constructs. These ancient parallels from diverse cultures and traditions, separated by millennia and continents, are strikingly unanimous in their appraisal of the silence. They all indicate that the silence is not merely the absence of something, but the presence of something far more profound and significant, the presence of being, the fount of wisdom, power, and healing. And it is within this context that we may more profoundly comprehend why Charles Haanel, in Lesson 20 of the Master Key System, accords such central significance to the practice of the silence. The influence of these ancient ideas, reinterpreted and systematized by thinkers such as Charles Haanel, extended far beyond esoteric circles, reaching the minds and hearts of many eminent individuals of the 20th and 21st centuries. Their narratives serve as living proof of how the principles underlying the silence and conscious thought can lead to extraordinary achievements and profound personal transformations. One of the most luminous examples is Earl Nightingale, an American radio personality, author, and motivational speaker. In 1956, Nightingale recorded for his radio station colleagues a brief essay which he titled "The Strangest Secret." In this 30-minute audio message, he articulated a simple yet profound truth. We become what we think about. This idea is in essence the quintessence of many ancient teachings and principles, including those expounded in Charles Haanel's Master Key System, which Nightingale studied and held in high esteem. He asserted that if an individual consistently contemplates their goals and desires, they will inevitably gravitate toward their realization. Conversely, if their thoughts are centered upon fears and doubts, they will attract negative circumstances unto themselves. The Strangest Secret became the first audio course in history to sell over 1 million copies, and it inaugurated an entire industry of motivational literature and personal development. Nightingale's success was a direct consequence of his capacity to synthesize these profound truths and present them in an accessible form, which in itself necessitated profound contemplation and inner silence. Another legendary figure, Napoleon Hill, author of the bestseller Think and Grow Rich, was likewise profoundly inspired by similar ideas. His narrative commenced with a fateful encounter with one of the wealthiest men of his era, Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate and philanthropist. In 1908, Carnegie entrusted the young Hill with an ambitious undertaking to spend 20 years studying the lives of America's most successful individuals to discern the universal principles of achievement. Throughout these 2 decades, Hill interviewed over 500 eminent personalities, including Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Tesla. He discovered that despite disparities in their professions and temperaments, all of them adhered to certain mental habits and strategies that enabled them to manifest their ideas into reality. Among these principles were definiteness of purpose, autosuggestion, and creative imagination. Hill underscored the import of focused thought and the visualization of desired outcomes, which is in essence a form of active silence, wherein the mind purposefully concentrates on creating the future, liberated from external distractions. His work demonstrated that success is not a happenstance, but the outcome of the conscious application of specific mental laws, which may be mastered and utilized. In a more contemporary context, Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple, likewise evinced a profound comprehension of the value of seemingly unrelated experiences and the intuitive connection of ideas. In his renowned address to the graduates of Stanford University in 2005, Jobs recounted how he had dropped out of Reed College and attended calligraphy courses, perceiving no practical utility therein. However, a decade later, when he was designing the first Macintosh, it was precisely this knowledge of fonts and typography that enabled Apple to create computers with beautiful and diverse typefaces, which was revolutionary for its time. Jobs termed this connecting the dots backward, an apprehension of how seemingly random events and knowledge ultimately coalesce into a meaningful picture. The practice of calligraphy, in its essence, is a form of meditative silence, demanding complete concentration and presence in the moment. It was precisely this state of mind, liberated from haste and external clamor, that enabled Jobs to cultivate intuition and the capacity to discern non-obvious connections, which subsequently led to the creation of innovative products. Finally, the influence of Charles Haanel's master key system is openly acknowledged by one of the world's most influential women, Oprah Winfrey. In 2007, she publicly declared that this book, alongside Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, played a pivotal role in her personal and professional growth. Oprah, who built a media empire founded upon principles of self-development, spirituality, and awareness, perceived in Haanel's work a corroboration of her own intuitive insights concerning the power of thought and the law of attraction. She frequently spoke of the import of heeding one's inner voice, of the necessity to withdraw from daily commotion to attain clarity and direction. This aspiration for inner silence and self-reflection, which Oprah actively promotes through her platforms, is a direct reflection of the principles elucidated by Haanel. For her, the Master Key System became not merely a book, but a guide to action, enabling her to consciously shape her reality and inspire millions worldwide to do likewise. These narratives, from pioneers of self-development to icons of technology and media, demonstrate that the principles elucidated in Charles Haanel's Lesson 20 are not abstract speculative constructs. They represent practical instruments which, when applied with persistence and faith, can unlock access to inexhaustible resources within us. All these individuals, each in their own manner, learned to enter into the silence, not as an absence of sound, but as the presence of being, the fount of all ideas, all power, and all success. It is precisely in this profound inner repose that the spirit of all things is revealed, enabling us not merely to dream, but to manifest these dreams into tangible reality. These narratives, from pioneers of self-development to icons of technology and media, demonstrate that the principles elucidated in Charles Haanel's Lesson 20 are not abstract speculative constructs. They represent practical instruments which, when applied with persistence and faith, can unlock access to inexhaustible resources within us. All these individuals, each in their own manner, learn to enter into the silence, not as an absence of sound, but as the presence of being, the fount of all ideas, all power, and all success. It is precisely in this profound inner repose that the spirit of all things is revealed, enabling us not merely to dream, but to manifest these dreams into tangible reality. The principle of the silence, as the presence of being, permeates not only the biographies of eminent individuals, but is also concealed within the very fabric of contemporary culture, psychology, and even sport. It manifests as an invisible thread, connecting ancient wisdoms with the latest scientific discoveries, corroborating the universality and timelessness of Hanel's message. Within the depths of 20th century psychology, Carl Gustav Jung, one of the fathers of analytical psychology, spoke of individuation, the process of becoming a whole personality, the integration of the conscious and the unconscious. This path to self-realization necessitates a profound immersion into the inner world, a detachment from external clamor and societal demands, to hear the voice of one's true self. Jung advocated for a dialogue with archetypes, which, akin to Hanel's spirits of things, manifest from the collective unconscious when the mind is in a state of profound introspection, akin to the silence. Without this inner solitude, without the capacity to listen to one's dreams, symbols, and intuitive insights, individuation is unattainable. Abraham Maslow, a pioneer of humanistic psychology, described peak experiences, moments of profoundest joy, rapture, and a sense of unity with all existence. These experiences, often arising spontaneously, are characterized by a sensation of timelessness, the dissolution of the ego, and profound meaning. They astonishingly precisely reflect the state which Hanel terms the presence of being in the silence. In such moments, an individual transcends ordinary consciousness, touching upon a deeper reality where all is interconnected and imbued with meaning. This is not merely an emotional surge, but a transcendent experience that alters one's perception of the world. Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel laureate in economics, in his work on the two systems of thinking, System 1, fast, intuitive, emotional, and System 2, slow, logical, effortful, also inadvertently underscores the import of the silence. System 1, operating continuously in the background, is often the fount of mental clamor, biases, and automatic reactions. To engage System 2, concentration and effort are required, which are far more readily attained in a state of inner repose. But the true silence of which Hanel speaks permits one to transcend both systems, unlocking access to intuition, which is neither a swift reaction nor a slow calculation, but a profound holistic knowledge. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, author of The Concept of Flow, describes a state of complete immersion in an activity, wherein an individual becomes so concentrated that they lose all sense of time, of self, and of external distractions. In this state, performance reaches its zenith, and the experience becomes profoundly gratifying. Flow is a dynamic form of the silence, where the mind is not vacant but entirely absorbed in the present moment, liberated from inner dialogue and external distractions. It is a state where action and awareness merge, and the individual becomes one with what they are doing, experiencing the presence of being through active creation. In the realm of sport, where millions and fractions of seconds are at stake, the principle of the silence manifests as the zone, a state of maximal concentration and performance. Great athletes, such as Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, have repeatedly described moments when the world around them seemed to slow, and their actions became intuitive and flawless. Jordan, renowned for his capacity to execute incredible shots in critical moments, trained not only his body but also his mind, achieving such a degree of concentration that external pressures simply dissipated. This was his silence, not an absence of stadium sounds, but a complete absence of inner clamor, enabling him to be utterly present in the game. Kobe Bryant, with his Mamba mentality, likewise cultivated the most profound mental discipline, visualizing every aspect of the game, honing his skills to automatism, so that in the most crucial moment his mind would be clear and his body would follow intuition. In the sphere of business, where decisions can cost billions, leaders intuitively arrive at an apprehension of the value of the silence. Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, is known for his principle of single-threaded focus and for reserving time for deep work, periods when he is undisturbed and can concentrate on complex problems. He eschews multitasking, comprehending that true breakthrough ideas are born not amidst commotion, but in focused contemplation. Elon Musk, whose capacity for innovation is astonishing, likewise exhibit extraordinary concentration, enabling him to disregard criticism and clamor to focus upon his ambitious objectives. This is his form of mental silence. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history, spends up to 80% of his workday in reading and reflection. He consciously eschews the constant informational deluge, preferring deep, unhurried deliberation, which permits him to perceive non-obvious opportunities and make sagacious, long-term decisions, free from panic and herd instinct. These examples from diverse spheres of human endeavor merely corroborate what ancient sages knew for millennia. Hermes Trismegistus in his Emerald Tablets declared, "As above, so below, as within, so without," indicating a profound interconnectedness between one's inner state and outer reality. Buddha taught of emptiness, sunyata, not as an absence but as the non-dual nature of reality, which is apprehended through meditative silence. Stoics, such as Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, exhorted the creation of an inner citadel, a mental sanctuary, impervious to external upheavals, wherein one might attain repose and clarity. The Jewish Kabbalah, with its concept of Ein Sof, the infinite nothingness, from which all existence emanates, likewise points to a transcendent source, accessible through profound meditation. In the Indian Yoga Vasishta, it is stated that consciousness is the sole reality, and all phenomena are merely its manifestations, and the path to this knowledge lies through the complete quieting of the mind. Modern science also continues to discover corroborations of these ancient truths. Norman Doidge, in his book The Brain That Changes Itself, 2007, meticulously described neuroplasticity, the astonishing capacity of the brain to restructure its neural connections in response to experience and focused attention. This is the fundamental mechanism by which practices of the silence, such as meditation, can physically alter brain structure, as Sara Lazar demonstrated. Bruce Lipton, a pioneer in the field of epigenetics, demonstrated how our perception and thoughts, and not merely our genes, can influence the biology of our cells. This signifies that the inner state, cultivated in the silence, literally rewrites not only our brain but also our genome, influencing our health and potential. Even in quantum physics, the experiments of Alan Aspect in 1982, which confirmed quantum entanglement, hint at a profound interconnectedness of all existence at a fundamental level, where particles, separated by space, remain instantaneously linked. This metaphorically resonates with the idea of the presence of being, the invisible fabric that unifies all. Thus, the silence, of which Charles Haanel speaks, is not merely an absence of sound, but a portal to the deepest levels of reality, to the fount of our power and creativity. It is a state which the great minds and souls of all ages have utilized to achieve their objectives, for self-realization, and for the comprehension of the fundamental laws of the universe. However, like any potent instrument, the principle of the silence and the ideas associated with it bear certain perils. If applied without proper comprehension and wisdom, erroneous interpretation can lead to distorted practices and undesirable consequences, transforming the path to enlightenment into a snare of self-deception. One of the most prevalent pitfalls is naive positivism, or so-called magical thinking. This is the conviction that it suffices merely to think positively or visualize success, and the desired outcome will materialize of its own accord, without any effort or action in the physical world. Haanel, like other masters, never advocated for passivity. His system is a guide to conscious creation, which demands not only inner work, but also resolute, purposeful actions founded upon the clarity gained in the silence. Disregarding this aspect transmutes a profound philosophy into a superficial and irresponsible fantasy. Another peril is the denial of reality, or so-called spiritual bypassing. In the endeavor to perpetually remain positive, one may begin to ignore or suppress negative emotions, difficulties, problems, and even pain. Instead of confronting them directly, extracting lessons, and discovering solutions, one conceals oneself behind the facade of "all will be well," refusing to acknowledge real challenges. This impedes personal growth, the cultivation of resilience, and the capacity to adapt to changing circumstances. True silence does not deny reality, but grants clarity for its apprehension and transformation. Furthermore, there exists the risk of toxic spirituality, which may manifest in the form of self-righteousness, the condemnation of others, or the creation of an echo chamber where any manifestation of doubt, fear, or negativity is censored. In such an environment, individuals may feel culpable for their human emotions or for failures, believing they are not positive enough or attracting incorrectly. This leads to isolation, feelings of guilt, and a distorted conception of the spiritual path, which ought to be a path to compassion and acceptance, rather than to condemnation. Finally, without the proper cultivation of discernment, one may commence to blindly follow every inner impulse or intuitive insight without subjecting them to critical analysis. Not all thoughts arising from the subconscious mind are wise or constructive. Some may be dictated by fear, ego, or long-established patterns. The practice of the silence is intended to purify the channel of intuition, but this demands time and the capacity to distinguish true wisdom from mental clamor. The true power of the Master Key system resides not in magical thinking, but in the conscious and disciplined application of universal laws. It is the path to acquiring inner strength and clarity, which enables us to act in the world with greater efficacy, wisdom, and purposefulness. This is not a renunciation of reality, but a profound comprehension of it, and the capacity to shape it from within. Now that we have apprehended the profundity and potential, as well as the possible pitfalls, it is time to proceed to the practical application of the principles of Lesson 20. Charles Haanel always emphasized that knowledge without action is futile. These techniques, if applied with persistence and faith, will become your personal key to unveiling the spirit of all things and accessing the presence of being. We offer you a 30-day plan, comprising 7 complementary practices. Remember, consistency and patience are your chief allies. Asterisk. First practice: silence meditation. The foundation for meditation. Asterisk. What to do. Locate a tranquil place where you will not be disturbed. Seat yourself in a comfortable posture with a straight spine. Close your eyes. Focus your entire attention upon your breath. Simply observe the air as it enters and exits your body. Do not endeavor to control your breath, merely be a witness to it. When your mind begins to wander, as it assuredly will, gently, without judgment, guide your attention back to your breath. The objective is not to halt thoughts, but to cease identifying with them, thereby creating a space between yourself and your mental processes. Asterisk. How many minutes daily? 30 minutes daily. Asterisk. When to expect effects? The initial 7 days may be replete with restlessness and mental clamor. Commencing from the 8th to the 14th day, you will begin to discern brief moments of profound repose and clarity. By the culmination of the 30-day period, you will experience a significant reduction in baseline stress, enhanced concentration, and a deeper sensation of inner tranquility. Asterisk. Second practice: visualization, image creation, Plusin. Asterisk. What to do. Immediately following your silence meditation, or at another designated time, select one specific objective you wish to achieve. Close your eyes and envision with maximum vividness that you have already attained this objective. Employ all 5 of your senses. What do you perceive around you? What do you hear? What sense do you detect? What tactile sensations do you experience? What emotions overwhelm you in this moment? Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the confidence. Render this image as real as possible. Hold it in your mind for several minutes, immersing yourself within it. Asterisk. How many minutes daily? 10 to 15 minutes daily. Asterisk. When to expect effects? The initial 10 days may appear artificial or unrealistic to you. By the close of the 2nd week, the images will become more distinct, and your emotional connection to them will intensify, leading to heightened motivation and the emergence of intuitive promptings. Asterisk. Third practice: affirmation. Consciousness programming. Asterisk. What to do. Select 1 or 2 positive statements formulated in the present tense that align with your objectives and convictions. For instance, I am a fount of boundless energy and possibilities. I effortlessly attract abundance and success into my life. Repeat these affirmations to yourself or aloud, with complete conviction for several minutes. It is crucial not merely to utter the words, but to sense their veracity within your body, within your very being. This is not mere repetition, but an inner alignment. Asterisk. How many minutes daily? 5 to 10 minutes daily. Asterisk. When to expect effects? Within 5 to 7 days, you will observe a shift in your inner dialogue. Negative thoughts will commence to yield to positive ones, and you will experience a burgeoning sense of self-assurance. Asterisk. Fourth practice: journaling, dialogue with self. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. What to do? Designate time each day for free writing. Take a notebook and pen or use a computer and simply write all that comes to mind. Do not edit, do not censor, do not concern yourself with grammar. Write about your thoughts, feelings, insights gained during silence meditation, about your challenges, about what you are grateful for. Pose questions to yourself. What have I learned about myself today? What decision can I make to draw nearer to my objective? This is your personal dialogue with inner wisdom. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. How many minutes daily? 15 to 20 minutes daily. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. When to expect effects? Within 7 to 14 days, you will commence to discern recurring patterns in your thoughts, gain clarity regarding challenges, and uncover unexpected solutions and insights that were concealed within your subconscious mind. Asterisk, asterisk. Fifth practice. Gratitude. Shift of focus. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. What to do? Each morning or evening, or both, compile a list of 5 to 10 specific things for which you are genuinely grateful. These may be simple matters, a cup of hot coffee, sunlight, or more significant ones, health, loved ones, opportunities. Do not merely enumerate them, but feel the emotion of gratitude within your heart. This practice shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. How many minutes daily? 5 minutes daily. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. When to expect effects? Within 3 to 7 days, you will observe a rapid shift in your emotional state, feeling more positive and resilient to stress. Your general perception of the world will become more optimistic. Asterisk, asterisk. Sixth practice. Mental rehearsal. Pre-formation RE asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. What to do? Prior to a significant event, be it an interview, a presentation, a challenging meeting, or even a difficult conversation, conduct a mental rehearsal. Close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself brilliantly managing this event. Perceive yourself as confident, speaking clearly and persuasively, gracefully overcoming any impediments, achieving the desired outcome. Feel the confidence and success. This practice prepares your mind and body for optimal performance. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. How many minutes daily? 5 to 10 minutes as needed before specific events. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. When to expect effects? An immediate reduction in anxiety prior to the specific event. After several weeks of consistent practice, you will observe a general increase in confidence and competence. Asterisk, asterisk. Seventh practice. Focus shifting. Conscious presence. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. What to do? Throughout the day, when you perceive your mind wandering, find yourself ensnared in negative thoughts, or feel overwhelmed, consciously redirect your attention. Take 3 deep inhalations and exhalations. Then deliberately choose where to focus your attention. Upon bodily sensations, upon a sound around you, upon a specific object, or upon your positive affirmation. This is the practice of returning to the present moment and assuming control over your inner state. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. How many minutes daily? Continuously throughout the day, whenever you recollect, for example, 3 to 5 times for 1 to 2 minutes each. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. When to expect effects? Within 7 to 21 days, you will acquire greater control over your emotional reactions and experience less mental fatigue. Your capacity to remain calm and present in challenging situations will significantly improve. These 7 practices constitute your personal toolkit for engaging with the principles of Lesson 20. Apply them with discipline, and you will witness how your inner state commences to transmute your outer reality. In the silence, we discover not an absence but a presence, the presence of being, which is the fount of all existence and the key to our true power. This is not merely a metaphor but a literal truth, corroborated by ancient sages as well as by modern science. When you enter into this profound inner space, you do not merely depart from the world's clamor. You return home, to your true nature, to the fount of all possibilities. Lesson 20 of Charles Haanel's Master Key System is an invitation to the profoundest journey within oneself, to the realization that you exist because he exists, this being that permeates all. This knowledge, when embodied in practice, becomes your most potent force. Before us lies Lesson 21, which will deepen our comprehension of how to direct this newly acquired power, this clarity gained in the silence, for the conscious shaping of your reality. We shall transition from inner knowing to active creation, exploring how your thoughts and intentions, purified and amplified through the silence, become a potent instrument for the manifestation of your desires in your life. Envision an ancient forest at dawn. A dense mist slowly dissipates, revealing majestic trees, each leaf glistening with dew. Sunlight penetrates through the canopies, creating a play of light and shadow upon the moss-strewn earth. There is not a single sound, save for the gentle rustle of wind in the foliage, which seems a part of the silence itself. In this stillness, in this primordial quietude, you sense not an absence but a potent, all-encompassing presence of life, energy, being. You stand at the heart of this forest, and every cell of your being resonates with this repose and this power. This silence is not merely an absence of sound, but the presence of all existence, and it is ever accessible to you.